What is going on, guys? Drew here, and motivation is one of those things that we rely on to be able to hit and achieve our goals. It's insanely important for us to be able to use it, but what happens whenever it just kind of fades off? Well, in this video today, I'm gonna be going over why this happens and what you can do to get your motivation back. You know, there's plenty of times whenever it comes to my fitness and my career that I lose motivation. I'll be insanely disciplined for a while and I will start making progress, but then there just comes a time when it's like, I don't have any desire to do it anymore, or I just can't get myself to take the next steps in order to go move towards the goals that I want to achieve. We need motivation to get up and go to the gym. We need motivation to get to work a little bit earlier. For me and my fitness, for years, I was motivated. 3-4 solid years. I was excited to go to the gym, excited to see the boys. Then, after I graduated, got a full-time job, got more involved in my social life, things kind of started stacking on top of each other, and then all of a sudden the things that I initially had a lot of motivation for, that I know feed into me and my life directly, I just kind of lost the will to want to do it. Like, yeah, I stayed going to the gym, but it felt pointless. And there was a time whenever I fell off and just could not get myself to go back. Well, after going through this, I did some research, and it's really important to understand how motivation works, specifically in the brain. Like, a lot of people on here, they're gonna tell you, write your goals down, look at them every day, blah, 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 blah. But they don't ever actually talk about what happens in your brain. How can you actually hack your brain and body to get motivation back? So we've all heard of dopamine. It's a neurotransmitter that is in charge of seeking things, seeking reward, seeking whatever it is. It's excitatory. It gets us pumped up and ready to go. And dopamine helps with motivation, and it releases various amounts for whatever activity you're doing based on how much engagement you have and how much you are actually enjoying. We all have a baseline level of dopamine always circulating in our brain that goes up or down based on our engagement with a particular activity. It could be one time you could go to the gym in the morning on a Saturday morning, and another time you could go to the gym on a Tuesday evening. And based on everything that you experience throughout the day, that baseline level of dopamine, based on things you've done, goes up or down. And that's why if you've already done things that you enjoy earlier in the day, can seem to have a little bit less of that spark that you are looking for to get out of the activity. That level of dopamine actually, once it spikes up, it drops back down. And it goes down below what the baseline initially was. We have a baseline level of dopamine that is always circulating, going on in our brain. If you say enjoy working out, you can be super excited on Saturday morning. It's the first thing you're doing, you're excited, you're looking forward to it. But then, say on a Tuesday evening after work or whatever that might be, it's not as exciting, because you've already done things maybe earlier in that day that have caused more excitement for you to want to go do that. Your baseline level spikes up, right? You're in the middle of it, you love it. But then after that's over, it drops back down. And it doesn't drop back to the baseline. It actually drops below what the initial baseline was. This explained a lot to me because I realized the things that I wanted to enjoy doing, I tended to put off later in the day to get the other things out of the way. So that by the end of the day, I didn't just really feel like doing it. Fitness has been something that's been very important to me, and I do take a lot of pride in my physical, in my how well a shape I'm in. And in doing so, I was then able to start to make some tweaks towards what I could do to get my motivation back, specifically to get back into the gym and to attack my career and make money and do all the things that I knew I needed to do if I really want to have the life I want to live. Now, before I get into that, I need to go get some coffee. So let me tell you, I am an absolute slut for a good espresso. So when it came to my motivation in the gym, fitness, career, after I graduated college, life just got a little bit busier. I started filling up my calendar more with social events, made more money. So naturally throughout the week, you start going out more, you start going to more restaurants, having more fun with friends, and this can actually cause a problem. It causes our dopamine to spike. Over time, your motivation is actually going to start going down because you're not ever giving it time to ramp back up to an even baseline that it needs to get to. You gotta think of it like a drug. You know, a lot of people, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, your tolerance gets higher the more you do it. Same thing with motivation, same thing with dopamine. The more often that you get those dopamine hits, the more it's going to require for you to actually get that feeling that you're looking for. Now, if you're somebody that's trying to actually change, like, you know, for the long term, you know, you're trying to lose some fat, lose some weight, make a lifestyle change, you know, even for mental health, going for walks is fantastic. Getting outside can really, really help, you know, your ability to think through things, clarity. There's just something about getting fresh air and sunlight. I know for me, like whenever I can take a step outside for about 5 to 10 minutes and I really need a reset, that's usually the charge that I need to continue to move forward. And it's not like it's this, like all of a sudden you're ready to conquer the world, but it is just enough to give you a little swift kick in the ass to get going. Think about it like this. If we don't have an ability to just be bored, boredom is actually a very, very healing thing for you. And sometimes one of the best things that you can do is actually just take a fucking nap. When you're just so go, 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 go all the time, you don't give your body a chance to recover. It's just like working out in the gym. Brain's the same way. It has to have a time where it can recover. What can being bored look like? So something that I did, I would just set myself a 15-minute time frame to where I would just lay down in bed and think for 15 minutes. I would get better ideas for things. I would get better clarity. I would actually be able to zoom out and see everything in my life from a different perspective, which then in turn made it possible to be able to hit different goals that I needed to hit. Now, speaking of things that I need to hit, let's go hit this workout. So something that I'm actively trying to work on when it comes to my fitness is needing fewer requirements to actually get hyped up for the gym. So this is going to be things like pre-workout, music, because what this does is it kind of conditions your brain to end up needing those things, and then you start to crave the pre-workout, the music, everything else for your workout rather than actually being motivated to do the workout itself. All right, so there are a couple of ways that you can reset your dopamine levels to get your motivation back. Now, option one is the one that you typically hear on what most YouTube channels are gonna talk about, dopamine detox, right? Cutting everything out cold turkey. And that is a great strategy if you can stick to it. And that's the big thing. Me personally, I could never fucking do it. It drove me crazy. I would just start back doing the habits without even I didn't even have a chance at stopping myself from it. So option two is slowly removing each of those things that give those responses over time and taking more of a layered approach and progressively removing one thing from another. So for example, like I'd mentioned right after the gym, when I'm working out, whenever I started applying this, I stopped listening to music while I worked out. I'm just listening to the gym music that was playing overhead, but I stopped listening to the stuff that I wanted to listen to because I noticed a lot of times I'd be in there, half the time I would be spending 15 minutes just trying to find the right song, trying to find the right track, because you know music's important. But whenever you start using that as a crutch, that's whenever it can kind of hurt you. So that was the first thing. The second thing I did, I stopped taking caffeine before my pre-workout. I still use a non-stimulant pre-workout, but by not using caffeine, I just felt like that was gonna be a better thing for me to take out so that I didn't need to rely on it. I know a lot of you rely on caffeine. Like, oh, I can't work out unless I have my caffeine. Bro, like guys, that's the only way you're gonna be able to get some of those feelings of motivation back. And what I found is whenever I did that, I was way more into my workouts. I was way more zoned in. I was focused only on the workout and not everything else that I needed to have present in order to, get my shit done. Now, another thing that you can do is if you're going out more during the week or you're going out to eat, you're eating those high evoking dopamine foods, just stop eating them throughout the week. You can still have them on the weekends, but start pulling things out here and there and allow yourself to kind of get essentially bored and routine with things. That way, you're going to have more energy and more mental bandwidth to put back into the activities that you actually need to. And the truth is, you kind of have to lie to yourself. You got to tell yourself that you don't need these things. You have to tell yourself like you are motivated to do these things, because there is a component of telling yourself while you're doing the thing that you want to do and you want to engage in more, telling yourself you are having fun. Number one, remove all the layers that are causing that. Two, lie to yourself, tell yourself you're enjoying the thing that you're actually wanting to do, whether that's working out, whether that's putting more effort in at work, making more money, doesn't really matter. But there is a component of psychological fuckery that you have to actually play.